After spending a month in the hospital, I finally returned home, only to be met with an unsettling atmosphere that seemed to hang over everything. As soon as I opened the front door, a strange stench hit me, laced with an overwhelming sense of dread. Panic surged through me as I hurried to my mother-in-law's bedroom. Despite the sweltering heat outside, the air conditioner was off, and the room felt like an inferno. My bedridden mother-in-law, who needed constant care, lay motionless in bed. Amanda. No, the sight before me was more horrifying than I could have ever imagined. My name is Ashley. I used to be an office worker and married Daniel, my supervisor at the food company where we both worked. He's 4 years older than me and had always been dependable. Even after we moved in with his family, I continued working in a different department. This person lying in bed is my mother-in-law. I lost my own mother in an accident when I was just a child, so I naturally began to see Amanda, with her kindness and warmth, as a mother figure. She welcomed me into the family with open arms. Amanda, please don't strain yourself. Let me handle the cleaning. It's all right. You've always cooked such wonderful meals for me, so at least let me help with the washing up. Amanda had taken care of Daniel's every need after his father passed away, despite her chronic illness. Naturally, when I moved in, I took over the household chores, given Amanda's condition. Still, she insisted on helping me, always concerned about me adjusting as a new housewife. Your mother is so kind. I'm really grateful, I told Daniel once. Is she? All mothers are like that, he replied, with a nonchalant attitude. Daniel never showed much appreciation toward his mother. Instead, he saw it as her duty to care for him. When we decided to get married, Daniel expressed his desire to leave the old house and distance himself from his mother. I was shocked to discover this side of him. Shouldn't you be more considerate of your mother? Amanda has a chronic illness, I had suggested. Having lost my mother early and feeling the loss keenly, I had mixed feelings about Daniel's detachment. I proposed that we live together with Amanda after marriage. Thankfully, my father was still healthy, and I had siblings back in my hometown. But Daniel wasn't keen on the idea. Still, I persisted. We can't just leave Amanda alone. She might fall ill at any time. Then you take care of her, but don't let the housework slip, he relented, though not enthusiastically. Reluctantly, Daniel agreed to my plan. A few months after we moved in, Amanda's condition worsened. She became more immobile, and walking became difficult. She needed constant support. I'm so sorry you had to quit your job because of me. You don't even have time to rest, Amanda said apologetically. Please don't worry about it. I'm healthy, like my father. I have plenty of energy to take care of you, I reassured her. Becoming a full-time housewife felt natural to me. I had taken care of my younger siblings for years, and caregiving was something I had always done willingly. Most importantly, I wanted to help my mother-in-law, who always expressed her gratitude to me, but then Daniel reminded me, I won't help at all. This was our agreement. He brought up our prior conversation, where I had agreed to take care of his mother alone. Even when I was bedridden with a cold and couldn't do the housework, Daniel just laughed, phone in hand, ignoring the piles of laundry and dishes. He probably wanted to rest at home since he worked at the company. I had my grievances, but arguing with him would have made Amanda feel guilty, thinking she was causing problems between us. So I endured it all and handled everything alone, no matter how tough it was. However, such days took a toll on me, leading to an unexpected incident. I suddenly fell ill and collapsed while doing housework. I was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Though my condition wasn't life-threatening, I was told I couldn't return home for at least a month and a half, considering pre-operative tests and post-operative observation. Staying in the hospital for so long is a problem, I told the doctor. I have someone who needs care at home. After the doctor explained my condition, my biggest concern was Amanda. Being proud of my robust health, I never imagined I'd end up hospitalized. I hadn't even considered how Amanda would manage without me. I was at a loss, but then something unexpected happened. "Don't worry about Mom. I'll take care of her," Daniel said. "What?" I couldn't help but let out a strange sound at my husband's words when he visited me that day. "What's with that reaction?" "You're not here, so I have to do it," he replied. Though he sounded a bit annoyed and weary, he seemed genuinely concerned about handling things in my absence. My husband, who had never helped with care or housework since our marriage, was now taking the initiative. I had expected him to complain about managing without me, so I was very surprised by his willingness to step up. "There are many people on maternity leave, and the workplace is short-staffed. I won't be able to visit you often, but hang in there." "Yeah, got it. Thanks." With that, Daniel left the hospital room after dropping off extra clothes and supplies, saying he still had work to do. In times of trouble, I could always count on him. Thank you, Daniel. Though he was brusque, knowing I could trust him with Amanda gave me peace of mind. I was hospitalized, fully understanding his busy work schedule, and his inability to visit often didn't bother me. With this reassurance, I let my guard down. In hindsight, I should have questioned his intentions then and the true nature he kept hidden. After that, my surgery was successfully completed. The post-operative recovery went smoothly, and I was able to leave the hospital about 2 weeks earlier than planned. "I didn't expect you to recover so quickly," the doctor said, surprised by my swift recovery. Excited about being able to return home sooner, I eagerly called my husband. However, no matter how many times I tried, but I couldn't reach him. He must be busy with work and taking care of Amanda, I thought. I decided to stop texting and surprise him by showing up at home unannounced. Daniel will probably be so shocked his eyes will pop out. With such carefree thoughts, I spent the last few days of my hospital stay. About a month had passed since my hospitalization, and the season had fully transitioned into summer. At that time, I was so happy to be returning to my normal life that I was completely elated. In fact, I didn't even notice that my husband hadn't contacted me once in the few days since I learned I would be discharged. Then, after what felt like an eternity, I stepped onto my property again. It was noon, and the sun was shining so brightly that it was almost painful. "Amanda, I'm home," I called out. "Oh, what?" As soon as I opened the front door, I sensed something was wrong. A strange, unfamiliar stench filled the air, and a heavy atmosphere hung in the hallway. It was an unusually scorching day, yet the air conditioner wasn't running, making the temperature inside even higher than outside. It was a literal inferno. "Huh?" A terrible thought crossed my mind, and I rushed to my mother-in-law's bedroom in a panic. "No, Amanda, hang in there." But my mother-in-law didn't respond to my calls. The scene I witnessed that day was beyond tragic and has left a lifelong trauma in me. It wasn't until the next night that I finally got in touch with my husband. "Daniel, where are you, and what are you doing?" I demanded. "Huh? Who's this? I can't hear you very well," he slurred, clearly drunk. "Daniel, listen carefully. Actually, Amanda." "Huh? Mom," he interrupted. "Oh, I'm on a trip with her right now." He sounded completely incoherent, and my heart sank. Amanda was at home. "What are you talking about? And what trip?" I asked, growing more frustrated. "Oh no, business trip." "Yeah, I'm on a business trip and wanted to tell the hotel staff about someone who looks like Mom," he stammered, sounding flustered as he continued with a stream of incoherent explanations. None of it made any sense to me. "Explain it so I can understand," I snapped, my tone becoming harsh. "Calm down. Are you in the hospital? You shouldn't be making a fuss there. Mom's fine," he replied dismissively. With that, he abruptly hung up. He still seemed to think I was in the hospital, and after our call, he must have turned off his phone because I couldn't reach him, no matter how many times I tried. What is he doing at a time like this? If that's the case, I have no other choice. In my desperation, I decided to contact his workplace to find out where he was. However, what? Is that really true? I was hit with another shocking revelation. The employee I spoke to seemed bewildered and asked, "You didn't know?" My distrust of my husband skyrocketed. Determined to uncover the truth, I used every possible means to investigate what had happened while I was hospitalized. And then I discovered a startling truth. What does he mean by taking care of mom? Don't worry. Ridiculous, I thought. I could forgive what he did to me, but I would never forgive what he did to Amanda. Never. All his promises were empty words, and he had caused his mother to suffer. Consumed with rage, I resolved to take action against him. After making that decision, everything went very smoothly. Just 5 days after I filed the complaint, the police apprehended my husband, who was enjoying his vacation, and took him into custody. However, he kept demanding to see either me or his mother, causing quite a commotion. The police eventually called me, saying, "He's being very loud, so please come down." "All right, I'll be there right away," I replied. Gripping my bag tightly, I entered the police station. "Hey, what's going on here? Why do I have to be arrested?" My husband shouted the moment I entered the visitation room. He glared at me through the glass, his hair disheveled and his beard unkempt. He looked quite distressed. "Calm down. We're being watched," I said quietly. Police officers were observing us throughout the visit. Prompted by my words, Daniel took a deep breath and composed himself. This must be a mistake. Failure to fulfill the duty of protecting my mother? What is this about? It's exactly what it sounds like, I replied with a sigh. My husband, perhaps expecting me to agree with him, looked back at me in surprise. "By the way, you know about Amanda now, don't you?" I continued. The scene I witnessed that day was of Amanda in a state beyond recognition. The room temperature was nearly 98 degrees, the same as outside. She was lying there in soiled clothes, completely still. The sight, the heat, and the smell have been etched into my mind, haunting me with nightmares ever since. Yeah, the police kept telling me about it nonstop. "It's really depressing," he muttered. "How can you say such a thing? Come on, don't get so worked up. She was alive, wasn't she?" he said dismissively. As he spoke, I couldn't believe my ears. Amanda had barely survived. When she was found, she was severely weakened, her body emaciated like a skeleton, barely clinging to life. When the paramedics and doctors transported her, they sternly told me, if we had been a few minutes later, it would have been too late. And what was the caregiver doing? It was clear Amanda was in a dire state. She suffered alone for a long time. That's not my problem. Besides, I had arranged for a helper only once a week, right? Daniel responded. Amanda needed assistance with everything, including going to the bathroom and changing clothes. And you call that fulfilling your responsibility? That's right, he replied firmly without hesitation. For a moment, I felt like I was talking to an alien. When you were taken by the police, didn't you realize you had done something wrong? I asked, expecting at least a hint of remorse. No, not at all, Daniel replied casually. By the way, who reported our family matters to the police? It wasn't you, was it, Ashley? It was me, I said firmly. And Amanda herself testified when I filed the complaint. After receiving treatment in the hospital, she recovered well and was able to speak 2 days later. You left everything to the caregiver and didn't come home even once. Amanda shared that with me. It seemed my husband only took care of his mother on the first day, right after he brought me my change of clothes. He told her he was going on a business trip and left the next day. As a result, she had to spend all her time alone, except for the caregiver's visits. She managed to move around somehow, but eventually, she couldn't get out of bed at all. Even in that state, Amanda was considerate of you, saying it's not his fault. He said he was on a business trip. Exactly. I was working, Daniel said defensively. What are you saying? Should you skip work? I shot back sarcastically. Interesting. Taking paid leave to go to a resort with a young woman is considered a business trip at that company. I never knew that, despite working there since I graduated. As I delivered this all in one breath, my husband looked at me with surprise. "How did you?" he stammered. "You thought I wouldn't know. You really underestimated me," I replied coldly. "It happened when I wanted to contact you and called your workplace. The employee who answered the phone told me Daniel has taken a substantial leave for about a month. I was completely unaware of any paid leave, so I was shocked. At the same time, I became deeply mistrustful of you for keeping such an important matter a secret from your family." I continued, "So, I hired a detective to track your whereabouts based on the information I received from your workplace and to investigate your actions while I was hospitalized. It was soon revealed that right after I was admitted to the hospital, you had applied for all your accumulated leave at once. You probably thought it would be unbearable if Amanda passed away while you were away. I also discovered that you had hired a caregiver for her. If I hadn't been discharged early, Amanda might not have survived." I snarled at my husband, glaring at him, but to my surprise, he showed a look of exasperation. "That's why I spent a fortune to hire a helper in case something happened. I'm not the bad guy here," Daniel protested. Indeed, I had heard from Amanda that the caregiver who came to her was doing a thorough job. The care records were detailed and meticulous, and they even contacted my husband for confirmation. However, the real issue was elsewhere. "Daniel, I heard that you ignored all the caregiver's suggestions and concerns. Weekly visits were far from enough, given Amanda's condition. The caregiver had proposed increasing the number of visits, but she wouldn't listen and eventually terminated the contract abruptly. How could Amanda possibly live alone without any help? What were you thinking? Explain yourself." "Those guys were so annoying, always telling me to do this and that. And it cost money too," Daniel snapped. "On top of that, didn't you also ignore the caregiver's warning about the air conditioner breaking down? That's why it got so unbearably hot inside." I confirmed all of this with the caregiver company. Apparently, the person in charge of Amanda had been told by my husband, "I'm switching to a service that provides better care, so I'm terminating the contract with you." They never imagined that Amanda would end up being neglected. "Daniel, you did tell me, 'Don't worry, I'll take care of everything,' right? So why did you make such empty promises?" I asked, my voice thick with anger. "It's no use blaming me for what's already happened." "Damn, you're so annoying," he muttered, starting to make excuses. Everything he said was infuriating because it was also so self-serving. "And about the affair, did you really think it wouldn't hurt me?" I pressed. "It couldn't be helped," he replied coldly. "After seeing you take care of that old woman, I just couldn't see you as a woman anymore." "What did you just say? Say it again," I shouted angrily, causing the police officer standing behind my husband to tense up slightly. "Sorry," I quickly apologized for losing my temper and sat back down. "I just wanted to have a little fun. I do feel bad about it," Daniel muttered, avoiding eye contact like a sulking child who had been scolded. Deep down, he probably still thought he wasn't at fault, but he likely realized that if he didn't say something, my anger wouldn't subside and it would hurt his case with the police. So he tried to be clever. "You just didn't want to deal with caregiving and didn't want to be responsible for your mother. Is that still how you feel?" I asked, my patience wearing thin. "I don't know," he said, his refusal to deny it making it clear that he was deliberately being vague to avoid conflict. At that moment, I finally gave up on him. "I've come to understand what kind of person you are," I said, my voice steady. "I thought I could wait for you if you were truly remorseful and ready to atone for your sins, but that's impossible." Feeling foolish for holding on to even a glimmer of hope, I pulled out the divorce papers from my bag. "I'm divorcing you, and you'll pay for what you did to Amanda. I'll be demanding alimony, so be prepared." "No, wait, please don't do this," Daniel pleaded, his tone suddenly desperate. Why are you saying this now, after everything that's happened? I couldn't understand why he was resisting when the situation was so clear-cut. I sighed deeply, utterly baffled. Daniel begged again. I just wanted to have a little fun. Ashley, you're the only one I love. Please believe me. I can't stand the sight of you anymore. Don't you get it? If you leave, who's going to take care of my mother? After all is said and done, aren't you just going to abandon her too? He said, bringing up his mother in a desperate attempt to manipulate me. His rotten nature made me sick. Amanda has decided to sell the house and move somewhere else. What? Where is she going? He asked, panic rising in his voice. I don't know. She told me to tell you, I won't be in your way anymore, so feel free to enjoy yourself. Isn't that great? I said, delivering the message Amanda had asked me to convey. Then I began to gather my things. Thank you for your time. This meeting is over, I said firmly. As I turned to leave, Daniel called out, Wait, there's a trial coming up. Can you testify that I'm not to blame? Come on, I'm sorry. Do something, please, Daniel begged. I have no intention of defending you, nor will I pay your bail. Reflect on your actions, I said firmly. My husband looked at me with an expression that was both tearful and angry. Daniel snapped, Why are you doing this? You're such a cold-hearted woman. That's why I cheated on you. Say whatever you like. I never want to see your face again, I responded, my voice steady, though I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. Having lost a parent early in life, I had hoped that my husband and I could understand each other. So being betrayed by him was truly painful. But that day, I was finally able to say everything I had wanted to say. This is for the best, surely, I whispered to myself. I wiped my tears and suddenly felt like I had let go of everything. Then, without looking back at my husband, who was now banging on the glass and shouting, I quickly left the room. Afterward, my husband was sentenced to 2 years in prison. While he was serving his sentence, we went through the divorce proceedings, and he was ordered to pay $30,000 in alimony as part of the settlement. I heard that Daniel has been constantly brooding in prison. On top of that, his bad attitude has apparently caught the attention of the guards, though I'm not sure how true that is. As for my former mother-in-law, Amanda, she moved to a rural town with fresh air. It seems that her health has greatly improved, likely due to all the healthy food she's been consuming. Even now, I keep in touch with Amanda regularly. She's made close friends and is living a more vibrant life than before. I've obtained a qualification and started working for a caregiving company. From now on, I want to help as many people in need as possible.